Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we are doing a more long-term review of the ULA Catalyst Ultra backpack. You can see in previous videos I compared the Kakwa 55 from Durston Gear to the ULA Catalyst. And I know they're quite different packs, but really my motivation for getting the Catalyst was really related to multi-day trips and winter trips where you need more volume, where the Kakwa 55 has 55 liters plus other side pockets and whatnot, because I don't think the 55 included those in its measurement. But the ULA does offer more volume. The roll top is a bit higher, and so just because we need more volume for multi-day trips and winter trips where you have more bulky gear, we looked around. There was the Hyperlight Mountain Gear Porter was another option, but really don't like a white backpack. Also one that uses Dyneema as material, seems much more fragile, and we go through some pretty brushy terrain and pretty rough terrain here in northern BC, so we're going to do a full breakdown of a full winter, a full summer using the ULA Catalyst Ultra, and go through the good, bad, and the ugly. Let's get into it. Hey guys, so this is my long-term review of the ULA Catalyst Ultra backpack. Got this last fall, I guess in 2024. Let's go over some of the stats. The weight of the pack is 40.1 ounces or 1,138.8 grams, basically 2.5 pounds. This is a 75 liter pack. Some of the features of the pack has ice axe / trekking pole attachments, and that would be this is sort of the top part, little loop there on this side, so you would kind of loop the bottom through that, and then this top part would cinch it up. You could do it on either side. There's another loop here and another cinch point up here. So that's the ice axe / trekking pole. Low profile loops for removable external straps. So let's talk about that. So on the bottom, there's these loops, this one, and I have these attachments here that allow me to loosen, and these are just attached by these things called G-hooks. Pretty much many of the, I guess you would call accessories for the pack are attachable using these G-hook type attachments. So if I can take this off, you'll see it just kind of hooks on. I don't really like these G-hooks. They come off really easy unless they are cinched on really tight. Like if I were to just put this in like this and see how it's kind of on loosely. Well, I've found, at least for the top straps with the G-hooks, if they're not cinched on tightly, they easily come out of this when brush is kind of tugging on the straps. So something where you either tape the side of this closed so it doesn't just come out easy, or getting completely different G-hook attachment may be preferable. I've ordered some metal ones on Amazon because my Kakwa trip, when I cinched some things on top, one of these plastic G-hooks actually broke off. I had emailed ULA, and it's kind of hard to get ULA equipment in Canada because they don't ship directly to Canada. I did go through a store that sells them, but even from them, they no longer sell these kits with these G-hook straps. Getting a replacement, when I emailed Peter at ULA, he said, yeah, we don't ship to Canada. You can go look online for yourself. So I had to go find my own solution for that. So I wasn't too impressed that I spent $550 on this. Didn't use the top straps for too long. The G-hook broke. They don't really look like the greatest quality. He says they don't usually have problems with them, but I did. So anyways, I had to go order my own G-hook replacement for the top straps. So that's kind of related to that. But again, this is an additional attachment accessory for the pack. And I've got this for the bottom. So you can, like, with these loops, can loosen it quite a ways. You can put like a foam pad or whatever you want in there. I guess you could put a bare canister. Same thing applies for the top of the pack. The pack comes with this single strap for the top. Again, it hooks in here using this G hook, which again comes out pretty easy. I'm not the only one that said that. Many people online don't like the G hook because they come out really easy. Another thing I should mention is there's 2 loops here. If you want a double strap V connection for the top, like if you have a bare canister, I have that attachment, and one of those G hooks broke. So I've ordered a replacement for that. All right, so anyway, we've talked about some of the features of the pack, accessories. So the pack is made out of Ultra 200 fabric, similar fabric that many of the ultralight packs like the Durst and Kakwa 55, which I also have, made of the same material, Ultra 200. The bottom of this pack, a bit more sturdy, this black stuff and side stuff, because it sits on more rougher terrain when you're always putting your pack off and on. That's Ultra 400, so it's double the strength of this stuff. But honestly, this stuff goes through quite a beating, and it really lasts. So the Ultra hip belt pockets, they use YKK zippers, and let's talk a bit about that. So, well, first of all, I like the padding on the back here. It's nice, thick padding. Shoulder straps could use a bit more padding for when you're going maybe more than 35 pounds. You're gonna feel it a bit on your shoulders when you're going above that. They don't recommend going above 40 pounds, but it's hard for me on a multi-day trip to go under 40 pounds. I usually go about 45 pounds, sometimes 50. And it does carry okay, but after a while, you will feel it on your shoulders. But the hip attachments have great padding. The pockets, lots of room in here, but one thing I don't like about the pockets, these seem to be opposite zip direction of most backpacks. So the zipper's up top and you zip down. And it's really weird to reach back and do that. It's very hard to zip back up, I find, especially at this corner. Even right now as I do it, it's a real hassle to get that zipper back up. So the zippers are not the greatest, but they do keep the water out. The pack says that it's waterproof up to 200 PSI. I've never gotten anything wet in here, but I do also use like an inside pack liner and put my stuff inside this, which is also inside this. But I have read from some people saying that the seams leak. So if you're in heavy rain, just notice that. You probably want to use some kind of a pack liner inside. I do that anyways. A few attachments here. This is an additional purchase, like $50 or something, and it clips onto this sort of front strap bear spray. And I do like this attachment. It has like this little clip. So even if you're upside down, it won't, like if you lean over, your bear spray won't fall out. This is another attachment, another front pocket. Has a zipper here where you can put snacks inside. It's water resistant. Uses the Ultra fabric as well, and a little sort of mesh pocket here where you can put maybe a small cell phone. I put my glasses in there. Has load lifters up here, which is great for adjusting depending on your pack weight. There's what I really like about this pack is the roll top. You can use quite a bit of that 75 liters. Fold it over once, and then you can use these side straps to cinch it down, right? And of course, there's lots of slack, so it kind of holds that closed for if it's raining, so you can really use quite a bit of that 75 liters. Some packs like the Durst and Kakwa 55, they require you to go like this and clip across. And for me, when you do that, there's a lot less of this space you can use. But when you clamp down the sides, you can use quite a bit of that roll top space. So if you need to use the 75 liters, those side straps are really great. Another thing is there's some pretty hefty side compression straps here, so you can cinch the bag in tight if it's not bulging out. You can also put your trekking poles and ice axe or whatever else you want to put that's longer items, maybe poles for your tent in there. So that's really good. Also, this front pocket is very stretchy material. You can fit a ton of stuff in here. I really like this. It's taken a beating, and I like these compression straps. Sometimes I get my water shoes, and if this pocket's full, I'll just put my water shoes on this compression strap, and it holds it in there nicely if I use both of these. So that's really great. I've added these carabiner attachment points for different things. Sometimes I'll just hook on like a metal cup for when I'm drinking at streams or anything else like that. Lots of places to attach stuff. Side pockets, plenty of space in here for water and drinks. I usually carry Gatorades. I also usually put my Z-Flix poles in the sides there for my, I use a Durston X-Mid 2 tent, and so that's where I put those poles in the sides. But yeah, lots of space with the 75-liter pack. The weight's really good for the volume that you get. So, like I said, there are load lifters up here. It has metal frame in there, they call it twin stay frame sheet. The roll top closure, the side compression straps, we talked about those. Sternum strap, so across the chest here. This is different from some of the other packs I've used in that this side thing, it's a bit stretchy, so it's kind of actually easier to connect the sternum up. Really nice and easy to do that. And never had a problem with this bottom straps at all. Seems to work quite nicely. Carries a heavy load quite well. I would say the design is good. Maybe not as comfortable as the Kakwa 55. I think the Kakwa 55 is a little bit more comfortable, but the Kakwa 55 doesn't have the volume that this pack has, and that's why I was looking for something that has 75 liters or more. There is no water hose port on this pack. It's meant to be a bit more waterproof, so you can't use like a hydration pack or something like that with this. It does not have that. I've used this in both winter, northern BC winter, multi-day trips, day trips, all kinds of weather, really wet, really cold, and really brushy. I think one of the videos was when I tried to climb Holy Cross Mountain. I was just pushing through all kinds of brush, snow coming down on my head, and this pack took a beating. Another one was Zigzag Ridge. It was really wet, snowy conditions. Actually, I didn't have this pack on that trip, so that one doesn't apply, but lots and lots of winter hikes going up to Mount Robson. And this summer, of course, going to Kakwa Provincial Park, doing our multi-day in the Pine Pass through the Donkey Trail. Have to say I really do like this pack. It just has a little bit of extra space in the places that I can bring my drone. Drone is like 5 pounds and quite bulky. It's DJI Air 3S. And that extra space in here just lets me put it in the top and fit everything in there. So the space-wise, weight-wise, it's taken a lot of abuse. There's no holes in here, and trust me, I have put this thing through its paces. Just look at the videos over the last year, and you will see what kind of conditions this has been through. I'll probably put some video clips showing the kinds of abuse this has been through. Really do like this pack. For the price, I think we paid about $520 Canadian, which is very reasonable for a 75-liter ultralight pack. Lots of others, I've seen some out of Australia that are 90-liter packs. I think from YouTube channel Mauser, he's reviewed a pack, I think from a company called Whippa, and they have a really nice 90-liter pack, which the front pocket actually is protected with a cover, so when it's raining, that and in the wintertime, snow won't get into that pocket, which is a huge benefit. But that pack is about double the price of this. I think all in, it's close to $1,000 Canadian. So lots of value in this pack for 75 liters. Pack carries up to 50 pounds. And you're going to ask, does this carry 50 pounds comfortably? It depends. I think almost any pack, 50 pounds is pretty heavy. It carries 40 pounds very comfortably for long distances. On the Kakwa trip, I had 50 pounds in here, like 48 or 49 pounds, so close to 50. And we went about 120 kilometers over 5 days, so roughly 25 kilometers a day was the average. And I think I'm going to say after, 15 kilometers, you start feeling it on your shoulders. I'm not sure that there's a pack out there that I would be able to say you're not feeling it after 15 kilometers and 50 pounds, depending on the elevation and all the conditions you're going through. But overall, I have to say I really do like this pack. It's handled all the abuse and bushwhacking quite well. The back padding is very comfortable. The loops for the trekking poles and ice axe at the back, they're great. Yeah, the water resistance, like I said, we've been through rain, and I think it depends how long you're in heavy rain. Probably eventually will leak through the seams. I've heard people talk about that it eventually will leak, but it's quite waterproof, I will say that. I didn't have any water penetration with my tests in both summer and winter. And I had lots of snow coming down on this in the wintertime when I was bushwhacking up Holy Cross Mountain. So I talked about what I don't like. Again, the zippers on the side pockets. I don't like the zippers. It's kind of hard to undo and do back up. It's the only pack I've ever had this problem with, and they've kind of reversed the direction. All other packs I've had, they kind of start with the zippers down and come back up, and these are the opposite. Maybe it's just a psychological thing, hard to say. So the hip pockets, the zippers, I have a problem with. The G-hooks, so like this single strap, like I said, comes with the pack and it clips in the back, so if you wanted to put something simple on top, you could hold it in with this single strap. But the G-hook, when it's loose like this and hanging like this, it comes out very easily. I've mentioned that before. The same problem applies for the double strap. It's even worse for the double strap. It comes out very easily. And I've almost lost that strap a number of times on trips where I'm putting the pack down for breaks and loosening things. And then when I kind of go to pick it up, I see that some of the G-hooks have come out and I almost lost them in the grass or whatever. So just note that. Also, the G-hook broke for me as I was cinching. I had like a lunch on top there and just cinching down that strap. The G-hook broke off one side. The back padding causes more sweating. So you could think of that as a negative thing, but without the back padding, this wouldn't be as comfortable. So that's a trade-off. Another thing is, in general, all of ULA equipment is very hard to get in Canada because they don't ship to Canada. When I asked, when I was asking about this G-hook problem, Peter said that they've had instances where when they ship to Canada, people don't want to pay the duty and things like that, so they don't deal with Canada. Now that's kind of weird because they ship to a whole bunch of other countries around the world, so only Canadians have that problem where some of them don't pay duty or something. I don't know. So anyway, they don't ship to Canada directly. The only store that I was able to get equipment from is geartrade.ca is the website. They do have some of this, and I think he actually goes through a lot of work to get the packs into Canada. But so it is hard to get in Canada in general, just to say. There's no hydration bladder area or port, so that could be considered negative if you're one of those people that wants to use it. So what do I think overall of this pack? Overall, I think it's fabulous for the weight. For 2.5 pounds for a 75 liter pack, this is a fabulous value for $500 for this weight, for the fabric. It's very durable. very comfortable to pack in. Enough features for multi-day or just regular day hikes. Of course, you can just roll the top down if you don't need to use that extra top volume, and you end up with a pretty small pack that's just sort of this length. It's definitely worth it. Looking around for different 75-liter packs from different brands, this was the one that I settled on. Great value for the price and the features. If you don't need 75-liter, I would recommend the Kakwa 55 from Durston Gear. It's a bit lighter, 55 liters, but if you need the extra 25 liters, which I do for winter hiking or even summer multi-day backpacking, definitely recommend it.